Hey everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be setting up a keychain design and cutting out this beautiful rose gold mirrored acrylic. I got this from Cerulean Tides. Let me get out of the screen so this will focus. So a sweet little keychain. Now, it does look a little scratchy right now because I have a protective coating on it, but this nice little keychain. So I am going to be designing this in Silhouette Studio. We're going to be cutting this on the Glowforge. So if you're looking into getting a Glowforge machine for yourself, go ahead and click the link in my description below. I'm going to show you how you can save up to $500 on a new machine. So if you're ready to see how I made this, then let's go ahead and get started. I'm in Silhouette Studio. I'm getting ready to set up the name for the keychain. What I love about these keychains is that for those of us who are making it, the process is very simple. And that's beneficial because if you have orders, you can replicate the process over and over again. It won't take a whole lot of time. Now, the real value is in the fact that we're providing an acrylic keychain. And in this case, I'm using some pretty stinking awesome acrylic. I'm gonna go ahead and type out the name, use the text tool over on the left side, and type Nicole. Pretty simple. My keyboard I don't think is connected. Oh, there you go. So we have Nicole. Now with our text edit mode, you can see that we have our green box around it, which means we can type in there. There's a cursive active. I'm going to click off and then click on again. So I have this gray black box around it, and choose a font from the right side of my screen. Now remember, the left side of your screen is where you choose what you're going to make, whether it's text, a shape, that sort of thing. The right side is how we're modifying things and changing them. So if we go to the right side of the screen for our text tool, this will let us choose our text and make some other adjustments. Now I am going to use Medina Clean. I love this font. I use it for so many things. It's just, you know, it's the trendy font right now, but the thing is most people I know who aren't in this with me, they love this font. So I'm going to use it. Now I'm going to make this large just while I'm working with it. We'll change the sizing once we get to the actual cutting. All right, so we have our text right here. I don't need to do anything else. So what's important to do is I need to weld my font. Don't remember, when you're using a script font, the letters are made to overlap each other when we're looking at it. Now, when we use anything like a Glowforge or a vinyl cutter, what happens is that it's going to still treat each letter individually. So if we're engraving, although the whole area is filled in, the areas where they overlap will be a little bit darker because our laser's going over for both letters. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to either right click or you can go to this top menu and choose weld. Remember that when you're welding, if items are not overlapping, they're still separate objects. You can see we have our box right here and then a box around the dot on the eye. I want them to be treated as one big object, so you can right click and make compound path. Now making a compound path is essentially flipping it or flattening it into one big object. You can separate them again, but you can't just click ungroup. If you're still a little bit unsure of make compound path, you can group it, but I do suggest using compound path. Now we have the name. We need to create the outline of the keychain. The way we do that is we are going to do an offset. You're going to select your name here, and on the right side of your screen there's a star. That is our offset panel. Click on the offset panel and choose offset. Now if you're designing and you notice that the offset isn't being made, make sure your object is selected when you do that. Whenever you have something you're doing, whether you're creating offset, doing a modify, you need to tell the software what object you're doing that off of. We have our offset here. We can preview, so I'm going to increase my distance because we want to have it kind of thick, because we're having a keychain and we want our name to be engraved in there. So kind of thick, 0.325 inches, so that's like a 1/4 inch plus an 1/8. I'm not here to do math. It's you know, more than a 1/4 inch, and hit apply. Now we have our name and we have our outline. So this is going to be engraved, this is going to be cut. Now we have one more thing we need to do for a keychain. Hopefully you know this step. We need to make the hole for the keychain. I'm going to go over to the left side of my screen, go to my drawing tools and choose circle. Now the way that you make a symmetrical circle is that you hold down Shift, click and drag in Silhouette Studio. This makes a perfect circle. If you don't hold down Shift, then you have something like this. I don't want that. All right, so let's go over here. This is going to be the circle that I use to attach. I'm going to make it a little bit larger just because I want to make sure we have it set in here. And before we weld, I'm going to create the circle that my keychain goes through. In this case, I am actually just going to draw it again, so hold down Shift. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to make sure I can choose the dimensions of this circle to make sure my keychain can go through. I have my little triangle hooks over here. I'm going to set it to a 1/4 inch, not a 1/4 inch, I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch. At the top over here, my quick access toolbar, I'm changing this to have a little lock. This locks my ratio, my proportions. Type in 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch, and we have it set right there. So that's, oh, I don't need to do that right now. We're gonna go over, sorry about that. Hold on, let me hit Control Z, don't want that. So what I'm gonna do before I set up this next opening is I need to resize my keychain to the size I want it to be. Right now we're making a 7.5 inch keychain. We don't want that. All right, so I'm gonna go over, just slide this down, and we're gonna do 3.5. So let me kind of look. This is a comparison. This is about 4 inches. So it would be a little bit smaller than that. I think it's good. You don't want a gigantic keychain. All right, so we're all set over there. Sorry about that weird step. And now our 1/8 of an inch looks reasonable. So I'm gonna bring that in there, but now I'm gonna use some align tools to make sure this is right in the center. So I'm gonna click and drag down like this and hit this button, which is center. And this centers each item on top of each other. The other one right here centers it within the middle of your workspace. We don't want that. So let's go ahead, center it there. And now we're ready to do a couple of modifications. The first is we need to join these circles here to create our keychain. So I'm gonna click my outside circle, hold down Shift, and click on the offset from our name. So we have two things selected. We're gonna go to our modify panel on the right side. This has a little circle and square. Modify panel takes one object and modifies it by another. In this case, we're gonna take those two objects and weld them. Let's go right here to weld. So now you can see that overlapping line is taken away. Now we have one more step. We do have this circle in here and it looks like it's set in there, but we can move it, just hitting Control Z. So I'm going to select my circle, hold down Shift and grab that background that we just welded, and we want to cut out that circle from the bottom. And the way that we do that is we go through and we subtract. So we have that, we have it all subtracted, and so now the base of our design is all set. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Just one more step we need to do to make sure it does both functions that we want it to do. Right now, both sets of our design have a red line. You can see right here within here that's red. We need to change our line color to 2 separate line colors to tell Glowforge there are 2 separate functions going on. So I'll just choose this outside one. We have our line color at the top, quick access toolbar. It's this little box here, and I'm going to change it to blue. That's it, super easy. So the last step is just saving. I'm gonna select my keychain like this, go to File, and we are going to save selection. So just save selection, save it to your hard drive, and make sure in the drop down you change it to an SVG as opposed to a studio file. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will see you in my Glowforge software. Right, so I am using this beautiful rose gold acrylic. This is from Cerulean Tides. Now this has a plastic poly coating on this side to keep it safe. If you're selling, I recommend keeping this on and putting a little note in your order to take it off. You can see I was testing. Now I am going to cut a piece of wall vinyl application tape or masking to put it on the back here. I just think it's gonna make a cleaner cut and just make it a little bit safer in my opinion. I don't want any flashback, which means the laser's a little bit too hot and it has that charring. And I also want to try to keep my edges as smooth as possible. So this piece is a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but that's what I'm gonna do. And I am going to place this masking tape right on here. So you can see not the best cut, but that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna smooth it, and I'm just gonna fold this over the top and fold it on the sides. You don't want any loose paper going on in this because that's how you get fires. So before I turn on my machine, I'm just gonna go ahead and open it and place this in here already. I just find it a little bit easier that way. Once I move back to my computer, it's already started scanning my acrylic. So let's turn this on. I'm gonna let that process, and I'll see you over in the software. Hi. Glowforge is still centering, which means it's reading the picture. You can see that right here. But I've uploaded my design in here, so we're gonna do a couple changes. Now, because I have the mirrored side down for my acrylic, I'm going to be engraving on the back side. Now, I have imported it the correct way because I'd rather keep my file the right way and just flip it in Glowforge. I'm going to select it right here, and then this little button, flip horizontal. That's all we need. Now it's backwards. I'm going to go ahead, turn this to place this on my workspace. I'm going to put right where the masking tape is. Set it like that. I am setting this to medium blue acrylic. Those settings work well for it. We have our cut, and then we're going to change this name to engrave. And I'm going to do an SD graphic. It doesn't need to be super fancy because it's a keychain and it's going to see through the back. We're all set over there. I'm going to hit print. This is going to prepare it, autofocus, tell us how long it's going to be, and then once the time comes up on there, my button will flash on the Glowforge and we will start cutting. All right, it is done. Let's lift this up. All right, so here's the back side where it is engraved. It's got some residue, so you can either take a toothbrush, some compressed air, or I'm probably just gonna run this under the sink. But check out that beautiful keychain. I'm gonna go take care of that. Don't forget, this does look scratchy, but we do have that plastic coating on there. Set it up, put our little hook on here, our little triangle, and I'll see you in a minute. We did it, team! Check out this super cute. This is using rose gold acrylic from Cerulean Tides, and I didn't put the keychain on camera because I am really bad at jump rings, so I had to do it off camera with a bunch of help. But I'm gonna get better at it one day, and if you're good at it now, I'm very happy for you. So it's engraved on the back here, and we have the rose gold acrylic right there. Let me focus my camera so you can see it. Check that out. So cute, right? Now, I designed this in Silhouette Studio, and we used that software to design it. We cut it in Glowforge, and this acrylic is from Cerulean Tides. So I'm really happy about it. Hopefully you liked this video. If you're ready to do a keychain like this, you are all set. I have all the steps for you. So if you like this video, please press the like button. And if you want to see more tutorials, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me, and you won't miss any more uploads.